And we are live today with some certified OolaLife coaches. Welcome, everyone. We have Darla McCamey, Debbie Roth, Jessica Domas, Julie, Michelle Phillips, Christine Coash, and Denise Wolf-Lair. And these ladies are all here today to share with you about fitness, health, and wellness. And our first speaker today is going to be Christine Coash. Christine is a franchise business owner of several Jenny Craig locations. And she has a clear vision and the demands of business can put on its leaders and a strong understanding of the health and wellness industry. And she, as an expert, is going to share with us today about the weight loss industry and about how you can make weight loss personal for you and how you can be successful using conscious language. So, Christine, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. That was a great introduction. I appreciate it. So, one of the things that's really cool when you're thinking about Oola is that Oola, when you talk about fitness, ties everything together. Everything that goes in is part of your fitness. So it's when you think about weight loss, we get caught up a lot in calories in versus calories out, or how many carbs are there, or how many sugar grams. The reality is when you're thinking about something as huge as your whole body, it's way more than just carbs or way more than just calories. And that's where Oola comes in. And Oola is so phenomenal in that it's about everything that goes in and goes out that affects your fitness. So taking it strictly to the weight loss piece is when you're thinking about weight loss, it does come down to calories in and calories out. But the way that we can stay motivated and focused and driven to hit our goals is a whole lot more than calories in and calories out. So first, just a couple of thoughts on weight loss. One, always set a SMART goal. Remember, your SMART goal is specific, measurable, actionable, or accountable, realistic, and tangible. So if you don't have a goal, what you have is a wish. And wishes don't happen. You have to have a goal so you can have a plan to get there. When you have a weight loss goal, also, you need a coach and you need an accountability partner. Those are two key pieces, regardless of what you're talking about. Anytime you're making huge life changes, and weight loss is a huge life change, find yourself a coach and accountability partner. Okay. But what I really want to talk about is the idea of using conscious language as a piece to move your weight loss and your fitness forward. You're going to find a lot of different programs and a lot of different ways to lose weight. I'm a franchisee of a very specific weight loss program. I own Jenny Craig stores, but it doesn't really matter when we're talking about the big picture for how you're going to do it. What's important is that you have a goal and you have a plan to get there. So affirmative language or affirmations get a lot of, I don't know, what's the right word? They get a lot of like fluffy comments where people are like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, just say nice things to yourself. Or you put up a motivational poster on the wall. But I'm going to tell you that is the first step to changing the way that your brain thinks. If you have all of your life grown up with a I am not enough mentality, or all the people in my family have big hiney quarters. You know, if you grow up with that mentality and the thought that it's just in your head, you're going to live that reality. And conscious language and positive affirmations are the first step to changing the pathways and the way that you think. And when you're doing it specifically toward a weight loss goal, weight loss and body image are so ingrained into every aspect of the way we think about ourselves. From the time you were born, you've been looking in a mirror. Most mothers at some point give their baby a mirror. So the first reflections that you're seeing are that's from day one, you start creating assumptions and mental pathways about what you see in the mirror. And then as you get older, the first time you heard something like, oh, baby, you can't wear that, it's too tight. Okay, your mom probably didn't mean anything negative. She just simply meant the shirt was too small. But when you combine that with all of the outside influences we get about body image, that's when people start taking these pathways and making them into negative body image pieces. Now, some people have great body images. Yay, good for them. But I'm going to tell you the bulk of the world has some mental pathway that is not positive. If you ask 10 women, and sorry, Kevin, but it is primarily women. I know men are in the game too. But if you ask 10, I'll go with people, to say something positive about themselves, and you push them a little bit, you're going to get things like, my eyes are pretty. I have a great personality. I have a really strong, confident loyalty to my friends. And if you say, tell me something about yourself that you're working on, my weight, my stomach, immediately we get physical. And so that's the pathway. And so the first thing, as cheesy as it is, create a daily affirmation. When you find a way to comfortably live with daily affirmations and positive conscious language, then hitting your goals, specifically weight loss goals, is 1,000 times easier because you're creating a mental pathway that's going to allow you the tools to stay focused and confident and motivated. And so your goals, yes, it needs to be a SMART goal. Yes, you need to have a coach. Find an accountability partner and tell them, I am working on conscious language, and that's what you want to be held accountable for. And I guarantee you, you will automatically be closer to your goals than you were if you didn't have positive conscious language. There you go. That's what I got for you, Kevin.
That is excellent. That was like 6 minutes and 55 seconds. That's great. Thank you, Chris. Right on our 7-minute time limit. Super deal. Okay, so we're having some comments coming in. Oh, look, we've got someone from Australia joining us. My goodness, all over the globe, people are watching. All right, our next speaker and coach today is Jessica Domas. She is a registered nurse and health and wellness coach. Her true passion lies in helping overwhelmed and stressed out working mamas create a life of more balance through planning, educating, and empowering themselves to be the gatekeepers of their home so they can really lead their families to a life of health and wellness, abundance, and purpose. So we're very interested in hearing about health from a nurse perspective, and Jessica is going to lay it on us. Go ahead, Jessica.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having us today, Kevin. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be on this great panel of people. So thanks for having me today. So I have some notes because I feel like this is such a, I don't know, soft spot in my heart. I don't want to swirl. So I have my notes. So I'll be looking down just to keep me on track because swirls are real. So anyways, I'm a nurse and I have been in the nursing field for about 10 years now in total. I started in nursing school. I worked my way up. I was a CNA and I worked my way up. I graduated. I got my BSN and I have worked in the hospital setting for the better part of going on 7 years. And then I realized I needed a little bit of a change. I have seen people on the worst day of their life and the best day of their life and every day in between. And so seeing that has really been a blessing for me. And now having the job that I have now, I work as a patient educator for an insurance company, and I help educate people on their health. And seeing really what education and the power of education really can do for people and in making some life changes has really been awesome for me and has really been like a true passion in my heart. So that's kind of where I am right now. But a little bit more background growing up. My mom also was a health promotionist. She got her education in health promotion and health education and things like that. So I always grew up in a household of health and eating right and exercising. And that's always just been like my reality of health. And So kind of like what Christine was saying, like our lenses of health and what is healthy and images and things like that is really important. And determining that for your health, for yourself is really key. Figuring out what is healthy. I've learned in my job now, what is healthy and what people consider healthy is different all across the board. All cultures, all races, all ages, all gender, like everybody, what they consider healthy is different. And what I consider healthy is different than even on this panel, what people consider healthy. It's all just relative to you. And so that's kind of a great starting point, is taking a look at your life now. What do you think health is? Take a look at your everyday life. Is my breakfast choices, is that healthy? Is my physical activity, is that healthy? Like what I eat every day, what I consume, is that from a fast food window? Is that from a box? Is that from a garden? Like where is my food coming from? Where is my physical activity at? Just really stopping and taking a look at where you are is really key, and maybe kind of snowballing some change. And so really finding out what healthy, that word, defining that word for yourself in your life is really important. And what I have seen, in the healthcare field is people who know what health is for their life. And then they take that a little bit further and they take ownership of that. And they go out and educate themselves on healthy habits, educating themselves on maybe if they have a certain condition, things that they can do for themselves to become healthier, is really like pivotal in positive outcomes and for your health and things like that. So knowing where you are, knowing where you want to go, and implementing steps on getting there is really how this F of ULA kind of takes, shape in for your health. And finding a healthcare provider to work with you and be a partner with you, I think also is a really key piece of the puzzle when it comes to your health, because I think that piece is missing for a lot of people, maybe in my age cohort. I'm 35. And, I think a lot of younger people today think, oh, I'm too young. I don't need a primary care physician or whatever. But really, I say to everybody, like, you are the expert of you. You know you better than anybody on this planet. But there are experts in the field, like doctors and specialists and things like that, who can work with you and be a partner with you to really get you on a road to better health. And you don't know if something is going wrong with you until you take a look at that and kind of dig deeper and things like that. So it's really, you don't want to wait until you're in a health crisis to start that process. Like, why not be proactive about your health now? And instead of reacting to it later when you're, knocking at death's door or whatever the case may be. Really being proactive in your health, I think, is very important, in kind of being healthy overall and in general. So finding out where you are, educating yourself on where you want to go and what's best for you, finding a partner to help guide you in your health, that's an expert, like a doctor or whatever kind of practitioner you need, is really key. And then also being able to advocate for yourself and your health. I think I've seen, like I said, people on really bad days of their life, and having someone there to advocate for you, or having an advocate for yourself, those are the people that have the best outcomes. So having that partner, having somebody with you to kind of help guide you, help stand up for you, is really key in successful outcomes when it comes to your health. So just kind of encouraging you to kind of take a look at that perspective, because I think it's something that is missing in a lot of, I think a lot of people think they can hop on Dr. Google and WebMD and diagnose themselves. And, maybe that, might not be the best choice. Like, finding somebody who can work with you for sure, I think, and taking that initiative with your health, I think, is really important. And a nurse, one of my instructors in nursing school shared this with me, and it kind of has always resonated in my heart, is if you eat the American diet and you eat the American foods, you live the American lifestyle, you're going to get the American, diseases. And it's real. That's real. If you eat out of a fast food chain, if you eat hamburgers and hot dogs and, stuff out of a box that we all consider normal, you might be on the road to things like conditions, heart disease, diabetes, cancers, things like that are kind of standard in our healthcare these days. Like that's kind of the direction that the world is going in, right? The world is going in that direction because of the lifestyles that we have taken on. But you don't really have to go that way. You can take a look right where you are right now, evaluate where you are, figure out where you want to go, and find somebody, an expert in the field, to walk you through that and create a plan for you so that you don't have to go that way. And that's kind of what they always say in ULA. The world is going this way. Let's take another direction and make some healthier choices and, live a healthier, more balanced lifestyle so that you can just be happier and more balanced and kind of eliminate that stress. So that's kind of my viewpoint from a healthcare perspective. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Jessica. I think your point about having a accountability partner is a great idea. And of course, I think you're speaking physically, especially about a healthcare person, right? A coach like yourself, a medical doctor, a nurse practitioner like Darla, someone like that. But it can also be helpful in your daily life. For instance, I, having a nurse practitioner that lives with me, always have somebody that's encouraging me, to eat kale and things like that I may not want to eat. And so that can be very helpful. So having your spouse, if it is done in the correct manner, or having a friend that's also working on trying to get to their ideal weight with you is an excellent idea. And that's something that's come up in all of our fitness sessions for certain. So thank you for bringing that up.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker today is Debbie Roth, and she has 22 years of experience in the industry, leading teams, building constructive cultures, coaching leaders and employees to be the best version of themselves. She's a very high energy coach who is passionate about helping people live the life of their dreams. And she has also used yoga as part of her personal fitness. And she's going to tell us about some of her, how to use yoga in your personal fitness, as well as some other items from her personal history today. So Debbie, we'll let you take the field.
Great. Thanks, Kevin, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. Well, yoga is another great way to build balance, have balance in an unbalanced world. Yoga literally means the union between the human spirit as well as the divine spirit. I am absolutely deeply in love with the feeling I experience in my daily yoga practice in my mind and body. This is one of the affirmations that I say to myself regularly to help build this as a habit. I've been doing yoga sporadically for 20 years, but it wasn't until recently that I developed it as a consistent, regular habit and really experienced some benefits. So what changed? I mean, I've always known that yoga is great. Yoga is great physically and spiritually, but you need more than that. And Chris was getting at this, talking about affirmations, because it's a behavior you want to build. It's something you want to change. It goes beyond knowing. You have to believe it. You have to see yourself in it. Yes, it is like me to take time for this. That belief drives that behavior. It is not easy. Otherwise, we would just do everything that we knew was good for us and there wouldn't be any coaches necessary. So let me tell you how I went from this sporadic habit to building a very regular habit where I experienced some real health benefits. Number one, I worked with a coach. I had a coach that I've worked with for years. Her name is Kat Crossland, and she developed this community of other individuals who wanted to build healthy habits. We all had different habits we wanted to build, but we needed that coach cheering us on, challenging us, as well as the accountability with other people. We've met with each other I think it was every other week, or maybe, no, this was every week for several months, to share notes to see how we were doing. How it all starts is, what is your dream? What is that vision for success? I work very hard at linking my feeling to the outcome, because that is more of an immediate thing. If I'm looking at losing weight and those other metrics, that's great, that's long term, but there were weeks that I went without losing any weight or really being able to measure my progress. So I link it to that feeling. That's why I say I am deeply in love with this feeling that I get. I made it the favorite part of my day. Every day I wake up, every day I go drink a cup of coffee. So why not link my yoga habit to those things that I do every day? Wake up, between getting, and before I get my coffee, I do yoga. That way, that coffee is that reward for doing that yoga practice. The other piece of it is, I mentioned the vision. I create a vision board. I wrote affirmations. I had pictures either online or I took pictures of myself doing yoga, and every day I'd look at those along with my affirmations to see, yes, this is who I am. Yes, this is what I do. Making a list of all the benefits. If there were things getting in the way of me doing it before. So my list of benefits has to outweigh those other distractions. Distractions like I'd get up, get dressed, make my coffee, well, I'd unload the dishwasher, well, I'd start laundry. Well, those are little things that don't really matter. And that was getting in the way of me doing my yoga practice. So focusing on those big things, the pay value, the health benefit, the feeling, that needs to be at the forefront. So then there is, with the accountability piece, looking at the benefits that you're experiencing with that. When we often think of these goals, like my favorite thing is an hour of yoga in the beautiful sunshine, the backyard on my deck. Oh, it's just amazing as the sun is rising. Well, that's not realistic. I can't do that every day. I live in Michigan, and for a majority of the year, it's cold, rainy, or snowy. I'm not outside. So then I fail. Or if I wake up in the morning and I have a headache and I just don't feel like I just can't do it, then I failed. So I started it very simple. This is the other thing that my coach told me, is that do small nuggets, not big boulders. You start with what you can actually do. And so I said, it's 5 minutes of stretching. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do 5 minutes of stretching in the morning, and that's success. And then you build on that. Well, tomorrow I could probably do 6 minutes of stretching, and gradually add seconds on to that, add like 1% every day to build up, because you're trying to build a behavior, you're trying to build habit strength. And so you need to be successful every day. So I've had days where I've been traveling or going places and I still get my yoga practice in because I do 5 minutes of stretching. What it's really evolved into, though, is 20 to 30 minutes of yoga practice a day. I have multiple locations. So what if I can't do it on my back deck? What if it's raining? Well, I can do it in my treehouse in my backyard. Well, what if it's too cold? Or what if it's too hot? Well, I can do it in my basement. I can do it in this room. So need to think about that if then. If this happens, then what am I going to do? And have that proactive plan that you can pull out and say, I'm going to do it this way instead. That helps you build that consistent habit repeatedly. So since I started this, now I'm going on 4 months of regular yoga practice. I've lost additional 2% body fat and 10 pounds of weight loss. But that took time. That was over 4 months. If I was just looking at that as my success, then I would have felt like I failed a long time ago. So keep looking at those pay value items. Get a coach. Get a supportive community, journal your successes, and reflect on what you did to make that happen. And I'll end it here with one of my affirmations that I had written to help enforce this. I treat my body as a temple for the divine spirit, making time each day for yoga. Because of this, I have a strong, flexible, resilient mind and body.
Fantastic. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie mentioned that she can do yoga in her treehouse. Not everybody has a treehouse, but Debbie does have a treehouse. I have seen it on her webpage, Windspire Coaching. Is that correct? Yeah. And so you can certainly go look that up and see the treehouse that she built that is hers, that she and her family can use. It's quite amazing. All right. Our next speaker needs no introduction in my household because she's my wife. And to anyone she meets, she needs no introduction because everyone just immediately loves her when they meet her. Her name is Darla McCamey, and she is a women's health nurse practitioner for the past 20 years. Darla has seen many women struggle to get through their daily lives, and she's found that physical health conditions are often directly related to constant stress or emotional trauma, mental health issues, or possibly even spiritual imbalance. And today she's going to talk more about the mental aspects of health and wellness and how a certain technique can help you and just amazingly change your life. And I'm going to let her tell you about that. So Darla, take it away.
Thanks, honey. His intros get even more mushy as we go, but I appreciate you. So Oola is balanced and growing in 7 key areas of life. And as all of our certified Oola coaches, we're all here to guide you and help you set attainable goals and reach them. So just like all these other wonderful coaches have told you about suggestions and helpful hints and a coach and an accountability partner and affirmations, it all goes together. We're all basically going to tell you mostly the same information, but listen up because this is a little bit of a twist on that. We assess our goals and our dreams, and we can get stuck, right? We can get confused or unable to move forward towards the life we want. And sometimes we don't even know why. We don't really understand what's blocking us. Some of us may feel like we're doing well in certain areas of life. Like we might love our career, but we might have a marriage that's not fulfilling. We might be physically fit, but we might be stuck in a pile of debt and not understand how to climb out of it. We might find it really difficult to let go of unwanted weight. We might feel restricted on food options because of aggravating food allergies. Sometimes that limits us. So there's all these limitations. You may have debilitating thoughts of what if, and that what if can stir that stress for you, and it can just limit your thoughts that just limit you in your daily walk. You might not sleep well due to past trauma. You might not sleep well because you don't even know why you don't sleep well. That's a big deal. But we all know what lack of sleep does to our overall health, right? Sleep is part of fitness. It, just like Christine said, it all goes together. All the 7 F's of life affect our health. So, and another thing is when we give into that temptation on the 3rd day of our diet, and we need to cheat, right? We have to cheat. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Oola blockers are fear, anger, guilt, self-sabotage, laziness, envy, focus, which focus is lack of focus or a misdirected focus. And we have a whole talk on that for blockers. So go check out our pages and you can see that. Negative thoughts hamper our ability to pursue our dreams. I can't do it. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. I just can't do anything right. The idea that we have those negative thoughts hamper us, it's not a new thing that we're just discovering right now. It's even in the Bible. The Bible says that we need to renew our minds, or that as a man thinketh, so is he. That goes back to your conscious language also. So, but how do we renew our minds? So some people advise that we should fight negative thoughts. For instance, if you hear that inner voice that says you're not good enough, you should just affirm in that moment, yes, I am good enough. Like do that Wonder Woman pose, right? And just and say, I am good enough, right? Or you may just ignore it and go walk on the beach, or go change it up and pet your dog or play with your dog or something fun. Or possibly saying affirmations all day long. I have a whole list of them. I actually just looked at my phone a minute ago. If you can see that, I have my phone dialed in where you can see I have Skittles and oranges, and then I have an affirmation. And these affirmations I've just programmed so they time. And so in the middle of my day, when I'm busy at work in between patients and nonsense in life is happening, an affirmation will text me and pop up on my phone. So I highly believe in them. And I think, I know they work. So as we do all of these things, the problem is you're constantly in that conflict in your own mind. You're fighting yourself. So when you affirm, I can do this, and as your inner voice says, no, you can't, right? You're like in this struggle and you're just constantly fighting it back. And I don't know about you, but that's just simply exhausting to me. So what I'm presenting you today is another option that ties into all of this, okay? It doesn't mean not to do that because affirmations are part of this. But with the aroma freedom technique, you can actually dissolve the negative thoughts. It uses essential oils. The movie Avengers, the last movie where the bad guys just like they're just mean and hateful and it's badness and dark and they just like disintegrate and dissolve and they just go away in the movie. That happens. People have actually told me that that's what they see or that's what they feel that happens. And so a little part of that. So it's super exciting. By following that trail back to that original painful memory that gave rise to the negative thought, that's when we identify that source of our inner resistance. A lot of people don't know why they have a block or why they think I'm not good enough. And aroma freedom helps bring that out. And when we're going through the aroma freedom process, the memory complex, it's gently dissolved by smelling a specific essential oil at the right time. And when this happens, that negative thought disappears. And it not only disappears, but it's replaced by confidence and a peace and an inner knowing of what you need to do to reach your goals. The aroma freedom process, it allows us to get away from that self-doubt and fear, and it brings us more confidence. So the purpose of aroma freedom is to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. And Jessica was talking about that as well. And Oola is all of says like where you are is not who you are, right? So Oola ties in with aroma freedom because where you are and you know where you want to go, or some of you need a coach to help you figure out where you want to go, this is the path that can help you get there. So whatever your area you're feeling blocked in, aroma freedom helps you release what's holding you back. A woman I know started having really severe anger outburst and road rage that was affecting her relationships. And then she started seeing a guy's face. You see, she's one of our beloved veterans. She was a medic in the Army, and it gets my heart. From an incident that happened years ago, all of a sudden his face started showing up at unexpected times, and it disrupted her thoughts and her actions. It was affecting her home life and her work life. She sought out some counseling through the VA, and when she would return from her counseling, her mood was so low and just depleted and spiritless. So I offered her aroma freedom. After a 1-hour session, she left with a pep in her step and she was giggling and laughing. And she woke the next morning the same way. She has that giggle and that spirit and that laugh again. And his face doesn't haunt her anymore. And that was a year ago. And there's many, many more stories like this one. So there's 4 different parts of aroma freedom. We have aroma freedom for big future goals. So when you want to set a goal and you want to get there, this helps with that. Aroma boost helps propel you to the next steps if you're taking action steps towards your goals. Aroma reset is if you just get overwhelmed in your day or you just want to do a reset for a quick boost. And then there's the trauma release that frees traumas from the past so that you can live again and free from flashbacks and haunting nightmares and the anxious triggers in everyday living. 1 to 3 rounds of aroma freedom will significantly improve your confidence that you can reach your goal. Negative thoughts just dissolve. Positive thoughts and attitudes emerge. And this leads to greater results and action. It gets you moving. The process takes about 30 minutes for aroma freedom. And I know this could sound totally woo-woo to you. Just call me because I get goosebumps every single time I see it work. And I'm a Western medicine nurse practitioner for 20 years. And I see this work and I know it changes people and I know that it helps. I know that I know that I know. And that's why I came to share it with you. And I know that I know that I know that Oola works and it's life-changing. So who's ready? Who's ready?
Thank you, Darla.
Yeah.
That was an awesome and a powerful story. My goodness. I'm so glad that you were able to help that friend of yours.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stories. It's amazing.
Yes, no doubt about it. All right, our next speaker is a fairly new coach on the scene, but she has actually a bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice, and also a master's in conflict resolution. So she is well experienced after over 15 years of working with victims of crime, primarily in domestic violence and sexual assault or impaired driving. And she enjoys helping and encouraging people and her clients to become their very best self, especially when they're in a life transition, as many of us are right now. And so Denise Lair is going to tell us about her own personal fitness journey and how Oola has helped her.
All right, thank you, Kevin, for the introduction, and thank you for inviting me to be here this morning. Yes, I am a newly certified OOLA coach. I've since March, I think, of this year. It's been really a great experience for me. I learned about OOLA in 2015 through Young Living Essential Oils. That's when I started the oils. And when I read the book and learned about the 7 F's, I was like, wow, this is amazing, because at that point in my life, I just became a mom a few months before, and I just was in a whole different place, and I just felt out of balance, and just, I figured, oh, this is perfect. This is what I needed. And so I kind of had a rough hard time like starting that balance because at this point I was like in my early 30s, but I want to start back more like when I went to college when I was 18. I grew up pretty healthy. I was lucky enough to have a mom who cooked great meals. We had a garden, so I pretty much grew up with food from the garden. Everything was pretty fresh, all that kind of stuff. Everything was homemade. We rarely went out to eat, so I was pretty healthy as a kid. I was pretty active as well. Like, I didn't really do sports like in school because I was kind of shy and just didn't think I was good enough. But in my senior year, I did do cross country. I loved it. I loved running. I lived in Oregon, so Oregon's very Track USA is in Eugene, like University of Oregon. So I actually went to college in Eugene totally ran. I was like super excited, worked out a lot. I really loved working out. I realized it made me feel good, helped relieve my stress. And of course, but when I went to college, everyone's eating pizza and everything. And when you're like that age, you don't think about, eating healthy. So, you get that freshman 15. And, I was starting to have some weird health issues, but didn't really understand what was going on because I was always healthy as a kid. So just didn't really understand. Actually, 2 years into college, I left college because I just wasn't feeling well and it just wasn't working out. So I actually moved back home, but then I also stopped working out and not really doing that part. So, just a lot of stuff happened at that time. I also became a victim of a crime at that age in college. So, just a lot of stuff happening at that time. And then about 2 years later, I went back to college. That's when I went for criminal justice to work with crime victims. Life happened. I met my husband at that time. So both of us were in college working. So really, we just didn't have a lot of time to eat healthy and exercise because we were working all day and going to school at night. And it was just crazy. And this happened for years because we did undergrad and grad school. And all we did was eat out and we rarely worked out. So definitely living the American lifestyle of just eating out constantly and not working out and not taking care of ourselves. Of course, then in 2014, I became a mom. Then, you gain some weight with that for sure. I think over time I gained probably about 80 pounds since I was married in 2006 to 2015. And I just was really super frustrated because I do know that it's important to take care of yourself and your body. And I was not happy with the weight I was gaining. I just wasn't feeling good. Of course, I was tired from working all day long, coming home and taking care of my son. Just super tired all the time and just so frustrated. And, then that's when I started working out a little bit more, trying to eat a little bit better. When we could try to meal plan, but still just with everything going on, just not able to be healthy. And then I became pregnant again with my daughter. So I was like, okay, definitely ate a little bit better with her because I had some complications with my son while I was pregnant. So had a better pregnancy with her. Still struggled again with the eating, but it was a little bit better. And then after she was born, that's when I started working out a little bit more. Still, the eating part has always been a struggle because you're just so tired. It's exhausting being a mom. I don't want to cook at the end of the day. Like, I'm just so tired. And, my husband at the time, he's working really hard too. We just wanted to go out and just eating, just out to eat and all that. Just everything was easier. But again, I just wasn't feeling good. Just not having that balance. Unfortunately, in 2018, I separated from my husband and got a divorce last year. Right after we separated in 2018, weird stuff started happening to me. I just figured it was because of all the stress that was happening to me, and I just kind of blew it off. Just was like, whatever, it's stress, it'll get better. But then earlier this year, I was like, you know what, I need to get a checkup. I haven't been since my daughter was born. I should probably go to the doctor. And I had a cancer scare. Thankfully, I don't have cancer. But I've done a lot of stuff. I've been in and out of doctors a lot this year. In May I had a surgery, found out I had endometriosis, and which I was totally surprised because I literally just thought I had a hormone imbalance, and definitely don't. And next month I'm supposed to have a hysterectomy. So definitely this year has been a very eye-opening experience for me with my health. I obviously, I'm a single mom now. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son who is a constant go. And they need their mom. I love hiking. I love being outdoors. I love being active. And with the weight that I've gained, the health condition I have, like that's starting to make it so I can't do those things, and I don't want to be like that. So I'm actually right in the middle of my health and fitness journey. I want to lose 80 pounds, which is what I gained in my marriage. So that's where I'm at right now with my weight goal, is to lose those pounds. I do have a health coach. She's from the church, so she's working with me with setting my goals. Also, of course, what Darla was talking about with trauma and self-confidence and self-image, all those things, that all still applies. Like the last year and a half since I've been divorced, I've been really focusing on everything, like my spiritual life. I'm a strong Christian, so I've really gotten a better relationship with God there. My emotional, I have a lot of trauma, and for the last 20 years, and a lot of stuff that I just kind of shoved down. And so I've really spent this time like really focusing on what's been going on, all my blockers that's going on inside of me that's hindering. Mommy, I want to watch that's just been hindering everything and getting in the way of all my goals, my weight loss goals, everything. So thankfully I have Oola that's been helping me kind of rebuild my life since the divorce. Oola Fitness is my number one thing, my focus right now. And I'm so excited to really tackle that. And I'm excited to work with other women and men too, of course, who are single moms, who have been divorced, who have been victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, any kind of victimization, where they just had a lot of trauma in their life, and who's ready to like focus on themselves, realize that they are worth something, and to empower them to have the best life and to live the life that they want. So that's kind of just where I am with my health journey, and I'm hoping to inspire others to do the same. So thank you so much for listening and all that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you sincerely for sharing your story. There are so many of us that may have had similar stories, and I know people that are listening have similar stories to yours. And it is very inspiring, and I can't tell you how much we think how courageous you are for sharing that with everyone. Being that vulnerable, as Susie is saying, with everybody, and just letting us know where you are. And I also want to let you know, as you probably already know, but maybe others don't, that all of us certified OOLA life coaches, the large community of us that there is, we are all certainly willing to support you. So never feel like you're alone in this. You reach out to any of us and we'll be glad to help you any way that we can.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker today is Julie Michelle Phillips, and she works with women of all ages who are ready to gain vision and create balance in their lives and begin growing in all the areas of their life. She also works with couples who are seeking to gain more of a connection in their relationships. So Julie is going to talk about why health is important to her and why it should be important to all of us. Julie, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm going to tell you, I have notes because, like Jessica said, there's squirrels. For me, I'm a rambler, so I could take up an entire hour just chatting with you about OOLA because I'm really passionate about it. And I love just helping people and sharing things that have helped me so that they can help others. But like Kevin said, my name is Julie. I am married to my best friend. His name is Chris. And together we have 5 crazy, awesome kids and 8 gorgeous grandbabies. I am by no means an expert in the field of fitness. But I do know that it can either help or hinder you in reaching your ULA life. So that's what I'm here to share. This year, I am turning the big 5-0. And I have battled weight, my size, my curves, all the things since I was about 12 years old. But when I reached the age of 40, I began to kind of just embrace who I was, embrace my body, and I even deemed myself funky but funky. Yes, there's positive things about changing my outlook about myself, but also in no longer trying to do better and be better, I realized that very quickly my health and my aging body were beginning to go downhill very quickly. When I married Chris 5.5 years ago, he was running 2 to 5 marathons a year. He's one of those crazy people. And even though he's 14 years older than me, he was by far fitter than me. But he never pushed his healthy or lifestyle on me. He just chose to love me right where I was. It was my kids having kids that helped me really realize how out of shape and unhealthy I was becoming. And when I realized that it was challenging for me to even just get up and down off the floor with the kids, that was my aha moment. And that's when I realized I really needed to start making some changes for me. So for me, my family became my why to better health for myself. And I think all of us have, when we set goals, we all have whys. I mean, there's reasons, but for me, my greatest why was my family. I didn't really start setting goals, even though I started having the grandbabies and I had that realization that I needed to do better. I started making small steps, but I really didn't set any goals for myself with fitness until I went to OolaPalooza last year. And like was mentioned earlier, if you haven't had a chance to do that, you've got to. It's life-changing. And that was the first time I ever actually wrote down goals for myself in fitness. And that's what caused me to start making some changes. So that was my initial jump start, was OolaPalooza. Now, in my personal life, faith is my foundation for all the things. It's the core of who I am. It's my hub. But I have also found that fitness is fiercely fundamental in the success in all my other F's. So when I look at my finance, my family, my field, my friends, and my fun, those are all affected by fitness, either positively or they can be negatively if my fitness is lacking. So let's just talk first about finance, because that's a big one. For me, the ways that my fitness can affect finance is if I'm not healthy, my finances can be affected by medical bills, and I was experiencing this. I was facing some ailments and challenges because of my lack of health. Another way that it can be affected is my ability to continue to work and the quality of work that I can do, which kind of leads into the F of field. For me, yes, I'm a life coach, but I am also a longtime interior decorator. And that is a very physical job, very laborious to your body. And I was realizing that the more physically unhealthy that I became, the more difficult it was for me to do that job. Also, as a life coach, obviously I want to be a good example for clients in all the F's. But if I'm not mentally and emotionally healthy, it makes it a lot more difficult for me to help others. So when I think of fitness, that doesn't just encompass my body. It's like a lot of people have talked about. It's mental and emotional health as well. So I can't really help my clients if I'm not staying emotionally and mentally healthy as well. So the next thing let's talk about is friends. Nurturing friendships obviously is super valuable. But like I said, if we're not physically, mentally, or emotionally healthy, if we're spent in those areas, we don't have anything to give. And relationships take a lot of energy. When we aren't taking care of our own health, we can't really be there for others. So let's see. The next one I want to touch on is fun. Now, for me, fun is a big one. I like to have fun, and I don't ever want my health to keep me from having fun with my friends and my family. A few weeks ago, my husband and I were able to go spend a week in the Colorado mountains, camping and hiking and riding ATV trails all over the mountains with some of our friends. And I have to be honest, a year ago, the things that we were able to do a couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to do those things a year ago. So I'm very grateful that I decided this year to really focus on my fitness and start making some changes so that I was able to take that trip and really absolutely enjoy it to the fullest. This one's really important to me because I want to have more fun experiences like that. I'm a little bit like Dr. Dave. Fun is big for me. And so I want to have more adventures in my future. Next, I want to go back to my why, which is my family. Much like friends and clients, if I'm not healthy mentally and emotionally, it makes it really difficult for me to be what my family needs and depends on. I'm their go-to for lots of things, and I want to be. I like to be that. I like to be the first call that my kids make, and I want to be that for my grandkids someday too. So if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't continually give the advice and the support and the emotional support that they might need. If I don't choose to take care of myself physically, I also can't do the things for them and with them that I desire to do. So that's really important to be physically healthy. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to hike. I want to be able to take long walks on the beach with my hubby and explore all kinds of new places until death do us part for us. But if I don't stay healthy, I won't be able to do those things. I want to be a mom that my kids can look to for all the things. And I want to be physically able to do all the things with them. I want to have an active life with them. But most of all, let's go back to those precious grandbabies. I always want to be able to chase after my grandbabies. I want to be able to climb and jump and dance and play with them. And I don't ever want to have to look at them and say, I'm sorry, baby, J-Ma can't do that with you. I don't want to do that. I saw that being my future when I first started having them and realized how hard it was just to get off the floor. And I don't want to be that grandma. I want to be the grandma, and I'm J-Ma. I want to be J-Ma that when my grandkids someday decide they want to do something crazy when they turn 25 and they want to jump out of an airplane and go skydiving, I want to be the J-Ma that's doing that with them. And I'm jumping out that plane with them, screaming, live Oola! Just enjoying life with them. If I don't stay healthy, I can't do that. So I just want to say, for me, there's been two things in my life that really helped me in this fitness realm, that helped me focus on my fitness. And those two things for me are faith and the ULA Accelerator discipline. I can honestly say that for me, I draw my mental and emotional strength directly from my faith, my time alone with God, in prayer, in reading scripture, in meditation. That's what helps fill me. That's when I'm feeling empty. That's what grounds me. That is what relieves stress. And that's what helps me keep focusing on positive things in my life. Discipline, I don't like that word, but that was my word of the year this year because I knew I needed it. Discipline is what I use and apply in pursuing the physical aspect of my health. Discipline is what pushes me through on those tough days. It's what I employ to stay away from too much sugar and processed foods. And it's what I utilize to get my butt out the door and do something, exercise, some form of exercise each day. So in knowing that fitness can absolutely affect all the areas of my life, we've talked a little bit about affirmations. Everybody kind of touched on affirmations. And ULA has affirmation bands for all the F's in your life. But I will tell you, this red affirmation band, the fitness affirmation band, is actually my favorite. It says, I am healthy, fit, disciplined, and strong. And with some work, that can be true in all 7 areas of my ULA life: my fitness, my finance, my family, my field, my friends, my faith, and my fun. So anyway, that's all I have to share today. Thank you, Kevin, for inviting me to be part of this.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Julie. That was an excellent, basically, summary of the whole day within your talk. And we certainly appreciate you sharing those personal thoughts. And I can certainly second your motion that as we age, we want to be able to play with our grandkids. So I had a similar awakening to that when I was having to tell my grandson, oh yeah, I can't get on the floor because I won't be able to get up if I get down there to play with you, right? So I'm working on my fitness also, and I appreciate you sharing that personal story today. All right. During this presentation, you may have heard some terms that you're not quite familiar with. For instance, accelerators or blockers or affirmations. And those terms, as well as a lot of the principles that we've been hearing today, come from this book, ULA, Find Balance in an Unbalanced World. You see that book just moves just like that, back and forth across the screen. And it is by Dr. Dave Braun and Dr. Troy Amdahl. And all of us are certified ULA life coaches. So we follow this ULA framework, and we all act as guides for our clients to guide them through that framework. We can all say that we have been to the framework ourselves, and we have seen it change our lives. We were so impressed with that that's why we became ULA life coaches. I know that at least that's it for me, is that it was affecting my life so positively, I wanted to share that with other people. And so I would implore you today to buy this book and read it. It will not change your life if you leave it sitting on the shelf or the desk. So definitely read it and take action on that. And if you would like assistance or a guide to take you through that ULA framework, we also have a 10-week coaching program that we can all offer to you, which has Dr. Dave and Dr. Troy. They're actually part of that process, and you'll get some video materials that you can watch online and then be guided through that process by one of us. So that option is certainly open to you to start, or if you want to start with the book and read it and then get with one of us, we certainly want to make sure you know that that is available. There is a whole list of coaches across the country and actually some coaches across the world. And there is a link that I will provide on this video after we're finished today. And you can click on that link and go look at all the different OolaLife coaches across the United States and in different countries of the world. And you can actually have one of them guide you through the OOLA framework. And you can take advantage of that and change your life just like all of us did. So with that, we're going to sign off for today. We appreciate all of you being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our certified OolaLife coaches for presenting. And we'll see you on the next broadcast. Have a great day, everyone.